this podcast, Bernie Sanders came on and he stressed the need for healthcare price transparency. Donald Trump did the same thing. He had an executive order. I think it's still in place that demands price transparency. Mark Cuban stressed the need for healthcare price transparency. How do we not have real prices and transparency in healthcare, knowing that it's exactly what America needs so that our healthcare system will be honest and affordable and accessible?
Yeah. Well, you're right that we should have it. And the reason that we don't is unfortunately because there are a lot of powerful people who get rich off of keeping these things secret. And so they don't want transparency. They don't want sunshine.
You can say Chuck Schumer if you want. I won't say it.
Well, I mean, look, you're right, though. Like, obviously, Bernie and I are on the same team politically, but there are some healthcare things like price transparency where actually I think he and President Trump are both right that there's nothing that you go to Starbucks, right? You buy coffee, you know how much you're getting, you know how much it's costing you. I remember when my wife, I think it was her second baby, where you get like pain medications because when you're delivering a baby, at least most people do, because it's like a very painful experience.
Yeah.
And there was some weird thing where the doctor that she chose was out of network. And she didn't realize, you're not checking whether the doctor's in network at the time, right? You just sort of choosing a doctor. And then we come home and we have like a $15,000 unexpected bill because she chose the wrong doctor an hour before she delivers a baby. And it's like, this is totally crazy. And we're in a situation where that was not a big deal for us. We were able to afford it. But think about like a normal middle-class family goes and has a baby and comes home to a medical bill that's like a fifth of their entire take-home pay that year, right? That's crazy.
Oh, the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, and I think the price transparency is a big part of it. But you asked, like, why hasn't it happened? It's because every time that we try to force price transparency, the service providers, the insurance companies, or the pharmaceutical companies don't actually want that transparency. Here's one of the reasons why the pharmaceutical companies don't want transparency. It's because if we realized how much more we were paying for pharmaceuticals over the Europeans, there would be a revolution in this country.
We pay a lot more than them?
We pay way more than them. And again, like my attitude is I am fine with people, if you invent a life-saving cancer drug, I'm fine with people earning a great profit for doing something amazing like that. You want to motivate people to do it in the first place, right? And a lot of people are obviously motivated by that profit motive. But if you take certain drugs that are, they cost $100 in the United States of America, and they're way cheaper in Europe, or some of these really expensive multi-$1,000 cancer.
Bring something up for me.
Yeah, these really expensive like next generation cancer therapeutics, they cost way less in Europe.
Okay.
And
this says in 2022, U.S. prices across all drugs, brands, and generics were nearly 2.78 times as high as prices in the comparison countries. U.S. prices for brand drugs were at least 3.22 times as high as prices in the comparison countries, even after adjustments for estimated U.S. rebates. Wow. Does it show those countries? Is there a chart with that or no? I love a chart.
It's OECD countries, which is mainly Europe. Those are like the advanced economies, basically.
That's what that means?
The rich countries, basically.
OECD.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what?
So first world countries, probably?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So Canada, probably Israel's in there. A lot of the European countries, I think, are all in OECD.
Okay, United
Japan.
States, Germany, Canada, Japan, Switzerland.
I can't see that.
Switzerland.
Terrible. Yeah, Switzerland.
Heard of that?
Yeah.
Comparable county average.
You're screwing with me.
Austria. Well, I think they misspelled it, dude. There's not that many zits in it. Australia, United Kingdom, and Sweden. Wow, so we pay per capita spending on prescription drugs in 2019, 900. And what does per capita mean?
Just per person.
Okay, per person.
Yeah.
$963 per person, whereas in Sweden, $270. United Kingdom, $273, dude.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's not fair, dude.
That's not
they
fair.
colonize everybody and they're paying cheaper for dope.
That's exactly right. But again, the reason we don't really know what we're paying here is because,
because they hide it.
They hide it. And they don't want to let people know, because if you let people know, then they would demand to pay less.
But
right? What something President Trump proposed, for example, which I think is a very good idea, is that he proposed re-importing drugs from Europe. Basically, if they're selling it in Sweden or wherever for $270 per person, and we're paying $963 per person, then we'll just buy it in Sweden and bring it in the United States.
I love that.
Right? That was a big thing. Of course, the pharmaceutical companies don't like that, but
and that's why that's why they tried to assassinate him twice. Probably.
Well, it's probably one of the things that could have happened. I of course have no idea, no inside knowledge into what drove the motives of the assassins.
Oh yeah, I'm just joking.
But
I wouldn't be shocked.
But I mean,
it's a lot of money.
Man, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some really dark stuff out there. Because look, 2 separate people have tried to take a swing at this guy in about 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, well, they didn't like Donald Trump, right? Because they wouldn't have tried to shoot him if they liked him. But I wouldn't be. I mean, the first guy who went after Trump. I hate to put on the tinfoil hat here, but we've not been unable to get into his phone. We know that he had all these like foreign encrypted apps on his cell phone. It is crazy to me that we don't know the guy's motive.
Yeah.
It's nuts. He almost killed the president.
Yeah.
And we don't know why he did it. We don't know anything about the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, he had a lunchbox or something. It's like the vaguest information they keep putting out about the guy, He'd been using a library card. We're like, who gives a shit?
Exactly. Yeah. His mom's name was Sharon. It's like, great. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. They're like, they're like, oh, he was a Colts fan. You're like, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
that's exactly
Give us
right.
the information on the guy.
So
how do we stop that? Do you get approached by lobbyists and stuff like that? Like
all the time.
Do you really?
Time.
And what does that look like? Who are they? What are they wearing? Like how
so lobbyists. Here's how you spot them. Okay, they're always wearing poorly fitted suits with extremely ugly ties. So if you go out and you see a guy with a poorly fitting suit and extremely ugly tie, he's definitely a lobbyist. Okay. It's like in Happy Gilmore.
He's a lobbyist for big fabric, huh? It sounds like.
It's like in Happy Gilmore where the guy's like, the coach is trying to get Happy Gilmore to play golf, and Happy's like, what you need to play golf is goofy pants and a fat ass. That's what you need to be a lobbyist, is goofy pants and that.
But why can't we? If everybody knows,
by the way, I like golf.